Welcome to the Andy Social Podcast. My name is Andy Dowling, and you might know me from such heavy metals as the band called Lord. And that's the only band I play in. I was going to say, and another band, but I only play in the band called Lord. And that's not Lord with the E on the end. You're really funny when you say those jokes, but I don't know who I'm talking to, by the way. It's just the general public. But you'd think by now, after all these years, that it's not an original joke anymore and it's not very witty. I know I'm leaving myself open for a Facebook wall being flooded with Lord with the E jokes. But anyway, I go off on tangent straight away. Hey, if you want to support this podcast, why don't you get onto iTunes, rate and review it. Only rate it if it's 4 stars and up. Please don't go any lower than that because I don't have that many ratings on my podcast show page. And if you're really mean, you give me a 1 star, I think I'm going to plummet into the abyss. So 4 and up would be much appreciated. And please leave a thoughtful, kind, constructive, funny, witty little review there. It can be 1 word, it can be 1 sentence, it can be 1 paragraph, it can be a novel. I probably won't read a whole novel, but you know, whatever you wish, and it'll be greatly appreciated. Those little things on iTunes go a long way. I have no idea how it works, but I do know that the more you get, the better it is. So that's about as far as my logic goes with that. Now, if this is the first time you listen to this podcast, welcome. And I'm trying not to repeat my intros the same as always, but I hope you enjoy this one. Welcome if you're listeners from the podcast formerly known as. I'll get into the intro. I am in the intro, but further into the intro shortly. And I hope you enjoy some of the previous episodes that I've had with this podcast over the X amount of time that's been running. All right. Sorry, guys. All right, let's kick into this one. Now, this podcast is a bit of a blurry one. This was the last podcast that I recorded. Well, the last Andy Social podcast that I recorded when I was in Melbourne a few weeks ago. I had another podcast to record after this particular episode, but it was a bit of a swapsy. So the guests plural for this week is Chris Asher and Dean Hobson. They are the hosts of the Melbourne podcast called The Podcast Formerly Known As. Now, you might know it. Hopefully some of the listeners from that particular podcast are listening now. Hello. And if you haven't listened to them or checked them out, please go and check that out on iTunes and Stitcher and all those little podcast platforms. It's very easy to find. And I was recently on there a few weeks back as well. So go and have a listen to that. Now, a bit of context behind this. This was the second of 3 podcasts that we recorded in the studio wherever the hell we were. I think we were in Brunswick, and we had a few beers, more so me than anybody else because everyone else had to drive. And by this stage, we were well into the mix. We were, you know, we got our groove going. Well, I certainly did, and the momentum was really sort of flowing. So this episode, I'll give you a quick snapshot of what we talk about because I had to write some notes because I actually had to go back and listen to parts of this episode to jog my memory because it's a bit of a haze. But we talk about their YouTube channels and what they do on YouTube, the podcast, of course, and how they got started and what it's all about. And they give a bit of a blow-by-blow description of that. We talk about Ratchet Industries, so you might be able to work out the link between the two. If you don't, go back and listen to a previous episode of the Andy Social Podcast and you might recognize the voices. I'll leave it at that. What else we chat about? We chat about Dean's clangers. We talk about cops rocking up to Chris's house. We talk about breaking dicks. That's right, breaking dicks. I educate the guys on the famous animated YOLO video on YouTube. If you don't know what that is, please type in YOLO animation on YouTube and you will be... Well, you can thank me later. I also talk about Siggy Butt Brain, which is a bit of a follow-up for the old classic YOLO video. And a lot of dribble, mainly from me, and I desperately try and keep my sentences well-structured, and I try not to slur too much, but, you know, I do lose control every once in a while, but that's what happens when you're drinking copious amounts of beer. But this is a really fun podcast, lighthearted, a lot of good fun, great humor. These guys are really, really funny. And I can't recommend these guys enough to check out their podcast. That's The Podcast Formerly Known As. And you can find it on all the usual platforms. They're on Facebook as well if you want to connect to them via social media. And I'm going to have all the links in the show notes over at andysocial.net as well. So that's enough. Please enjoy this episode with Chris Asher and Dean Hobson of the podcast formerly known as Ratchet Industries. Hey guys. Thank you.
Hello.
For having me in your studio.
It's exciting. It's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, likewise. I feel like I'm in the presence of a couple of internet celebrities, to be honest.
Not really. We'd have to have.
What are you talking about? We got 200 views on that last one we did. 60 of them with me.
60 of them.
It's pretty amazing though when you think about like the internet. This sounds so retarded, but when you think about podcasts and vlogs and all sorts of stuff, like you get this warped sense of reality of what people are. Yeah, it's like the Instagram thing where people are posting pictures of like, oh, I'm on a beach and I'm doing this, and there's all these beautiful women or men or whatever it might be, and people go, oh man, I wish I could be like that person.
Yeah.
But they're only posting select portions of their life, and in between they're probably a depressive sack of shit.
Yeah, I cut myself in between videos.
But it's the same thing with you guys.
Yeah, I'm just like one of those hot chicks with a duck face, and then, look at me, and then I go and throw up down the toilet.
In front of
I want to just say, first of all, it's nice to finally be able to laugh again.
Without crying.
Yeah. Oh, what a relief this is. I still feel like I'm not allowed to laugh.
Yeah, I'm still half in character. I mean, shake it off. Cock. All right, okay.
Okay.
Fine.
There
fine
it
now.
is. Good work.
I'm so glad we've done this as a second thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think that makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
If we did it the other way around, I think it'd be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, I think going back to what I was saying about perception and whatnot, you see people online, you get a vision of people, and you're definitely visible with your vlog.
Yeah.
And so the daily comings and goings and whatnot, and then the podcast as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird and surreal to be sitting in here, and I've seen this room before, and I've seen you both before, but I've never actually been in here before. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone.
Well, it's I felt the same meeting you, because I've seen your videos and seen stuff online and listened to your podcast, and yeah, to meet you in person is always really funny and weird, because I feel like I know you. Like we had that moment earlier. What was it where I said, "Oh, you were saying," and I was like, "Wait, no, I listened to that on a podcast."
Yeah, you said it elsewhere.
Yeah,
but it sounded.
But
like
I heard it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if about the two of you, but anybody that listens to your podcast later on, like you guys have got personal jokes and cocks and all these things, and
we do have cocks. You're right. Very
Do you like how I identified all the jokes in the podcast? Just like cocks and all those things.
And, that's the umbrella.
There's a massive cock umbrella, and then everything falls under that.
Correct.
Yeah.
But do you find that there's people, I mean, even mates and whatever, that will come up to you and start saying some of the jokes that you guys have brought up in podcasts?
Not really, because my mates don't listen to.
Yeah, how famous do you think we are? We don't get like people shouting cock down the street or anything.
Not even our mates are like, oh, we did a podcast. Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to it?
Do you have any of those moments where, or a random or anyone would say something?
I had more of those moments when I first got on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I was doing music, I'd be playing it, like I used to play psychedelic trance at Bush Tuffs.
Whoa, that sounds intense.
Yeah. And so I'd go out and do a gig, and there'd be all these people that I barely knew, but like because they were in the scene, they'd add me as a friend on Facebook, and they'd come up to me and go, "Oh, how's your new couch going?" Because I was like, "I got a new couch," and took a selfie with it or whatever. And people that I had no idea, they're like, "Oh, how's your new couch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I should stop doing that."
Actually, we do have that. When we have guests sometimes, and they do the research and they listen to a few episodes, that's a bit weird when somebody just sits down next to you and goes, "Oh, how's your renovation going?" I think that's what Screwing said when he came on.
or asking how old you are, and
See, we haven't recorded our episode with you yet, but again, not going to be able to ask. And this is something that keeps happening, is we're not going to be able to play the How Old's Dean game with you.
You're going to have to. Well,
I've got a series of jingles that I'm dying to play.
Okay, have you got ones that I haven't heard yet?
Yeah, I've got 2 more that you haven't heard.
Screw-ins. Screw-ins, you fucker.
All right, we're going to touch on screw-ins. So anyone who's listening to this podcast has heard screw-ins. It's, I don't know what episode number it was, but we all know screw-ins, and
that's why we're here, is it?
It's pretty much.
It is. It really is.
That's how to put everyone together.
So what happened was I went on. Oh, so screw-ins. Do you want to tell about Screw-ins podcast?
Go. No.
So people know about Screw-ins podcast that listen to this one.
Yep.
Okay. So I got, the way I met Screw-ins was through Reddit. And a former boss of mine had said, hey, and sent me a link to someone who was saying, what are some Melbourne podcasts? Give us a list. And Screw-ins had actually posted that. Yeah. And so I just posted mine and said, if anyone here wants to collab and be on ours and stuff. And then he messaged me through Reddit and said, hey, that's why I posted this. Do you want to? And then we've been friends ever since. Yeah. And so he came on our podcast first, and when he left, John, who was on our podcast at the time, goes, oh, so how do you know him? I'm like, I just met him on Reddit. That's the first time we met in person. And he's like, are you serious? I thought you guys had been friends for ages. I was like, no, I've never met him before in my life.
That dude's got such an infectious personality. Like, even we were saying before, with my dealings with screw-ins sounds like Chris is.
Sorry, I choked on my beer there.
I mean, I don't even know. Oh no, sorry. I do know, because I said the story before. We've got a mutual friend that went to school with Screw-ins, and we're talking about Australian podcasts, and he said to check out Screw-ins, and so I listened to one of his episodes, and it just happened to be an episode where he had recorded it in a way that sounded like literally a breakfast show program, and he had scripted it the entire way through. I don't know what episode it was, and I remember listening to it thinking, oh, this is like one of those repeat episodes, like it's already played earlier in the day and they're repeating it later at night. They're just putting up online, like the ABC used to do. Podcasts, like, oh, you can hear the podcast online, ABC, blah, blah. And but then I listened to a few more, and then I realized, what the fuck? Who is this fucking guy? Well, that's right.
The first thing I ever listened to, he said, "Oh, we've got this guy coming on. Listen to his podcast and check him out a bit." And I listened to this thing, and it was the one about the guy whose feet hadn't kicked in yet. What the? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What? Where does that come from? Why? How can you? I mean, this guy's
he's a genius. Yeah, is what he is.
Something like that.
I really think
his feet hadn't kicked in yet. Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then he did the one about the real estate agent convention. That was my favorite. Easily, like, to go to that length of going like, you know what, I'm going to put together a whole hour-long podcast of all of this stuff that I've just got running around in my crazy little tiny brain. Like, because I mean, he's got a small head. So surely, you know.
Is that the one where they're jacking off in the interval and it's like sheep noises and stuff?
Yeah. That was that one.
Did you guys get when you guys did the episode with Screw-ins? Did you guys get a letter from Financial Borough?
Yes, I got one in my episode that I had to read out, and you got one that you read out.
That's right. Yeah.
Or did I read it out for you or something? I can't remember.
Have you kept it?
No.
I kept that. I've still got it.
I didn't think that it was on offer to keep. I think I left it on the table. I was like,
he just gave it to me, and then I just pocketed it. I just kept it.
Yeah. As a souvenir. Yeah. Do you have it with you?
No, well, no, I don't carry around with me.
Where is it? Where do you keep it? Where do you keep it?
I think it's sitting on a shelf, not on display.
Do you have it like in a shoebox with your love notes from like high school?
I've always loved you. I've always loved you, and
Financial bra.
and then financial bra. Oh, hey, tell me how to get velocity points on an Amex card, or here's a financial bra.
For the people that are listening to this episode right now, it's just going to be the weirdest. Like, they don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Well, I think.
Am I allowed to swear?
You can absolutely swear.
Cool. Because I think we have a bunch of times
Well,
already.
I guess we should say just go and check him out. But he's quitting. Apparently, he's quitting.
He's quitting. 150
I was
episodes.
so devastated because that's like one of the only that's on my actual listening list.
Yeah, me too. I get notifications when the thing comes out, and then I jump in the shower and put it on.
Basically, I really only listen to 2 podcasts and jerk off. Sorry, I just heard what you said.
Ours and his, yeah?
Yeah.
Fair enough. And understandably so.
There's probably Comedy Bang Bang and Screw-Ins. They're the 2 ones that I absolutely have to listen to.
Yep.
And then there's ones that like I'll listen to every couple of weeks kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people that listen to this podcast for a long period of time have heard Screw-Ins in the past. He's been on, I don't know what number it was, but if they haven't, then they can go back and listen to it. And I think the cool thing about it is, like he's ending at 150. And I was talking to him the other day, and he said, it's a project, and I'm going to end it, and then I'll find something else to do after that.
I can't wait to find out what it is, because
that guy, I don't know him very well. I know him I've met him once, and he's been on my podcast and vice versa. But the way that guy ticks and the way that he does his podcast, I don't think that guy can sit still.
No.
There's no way that he's just going to go wipe his hands clean and just say, that's it. I'm not going to do anything more.
For sure.
He would have to do something else. And his privacy is extremely important. So I can't see him doing video of any sort. Because I thought...
Maybe he'll do a different type of podcast. Maybe the Screw-Ins one has ended and he just needs to...
A new
give it a
theme.
different
name.
A new theme, new name. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
No more financial bra.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a financial bra podcast. Maybe there's just...
Who knows?
Spin-off.
That on its own. Maybe.
Well...
Financial advice.
I just remembered what we were going to be... where I was going with that from like 15 minutes ago or something. Sorry. Because that's how I know you.
Yeah.
When I went and did his podcast, I was vlogging, and because I don't post my vlog on my Facebook.
Yes.
I don't promote anything that I do on that channel on my Facebook. Maybe the occasional one if it's something special, whatever. Anyway, I think I might have posted twice out of the 200 and something videos that I've made. But he said, I've got a mate who's doing a vlog, and that was you when you were losing weight to fit into your suit for your wedding.
Yeah.
And so I started watching that. Yeah. And I don't know why, but I thought you were in Geelong for quite some time.
I'll take offense to that, but okay.
I don't know. I don't know what. I think it was like the bay, like where you were doing like running and stuff or something. I don't know. I thought it was...
I just remember being really impressed when I was listening to that episode that you were on Screw-Ins with, and you said something like at that stage, I just hit 200 subscribers. I thought, oh, fuck, man, this guy must be fucking killing it. Far out. And then I subscribed after that and started checking you out and following you. But I remember listening to that episode, and that's how I connected with, because I think I might have sent you a message a little bit later on down the track. That's when I was doing a bit of
or you commented, or maybe something. I don't know. I think we'd been watching each other. I think we'd been watching each other's videos.
Oh, bless you.
without getting in touch. I think there was
where were
a
your
period
videos,
of that.
Dean?
Yeah,
that's it. I don't know what would I do.
His are all on Pornhub.
Yeah, I've got a few on there. Just look up Bukkake and Shemale.
and Jamaica.
I bet you your subscribers are quite high.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope there's some monetization on those videos. Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
I wonder how that works. Because you can upload your own stuff to Pornhub, can't you? Does it work in the same way?
I don't know. As much as
can you get monetized? how do you get money for jacking off?
I reckon you can get money for jacking off if you upload it to Pornhub.
Yeah, I don't know if it's...
Does it work in the same way as YouTube?
I don't know. I mean, it looks...
There are no
I
ads,
don't
though.
know.
The's no ads.
Yeah.
Where does the
Yeah,
money...
there's ads all over the place on
Well, when you-
Pornhub.
Actually, yeah, cock extensions and all that.
Jesus. It's like
Yeah.
there's no pre-roll ads. That's...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I
Just
don't know if
pop-ups.
it's user-based or you
Yeah.
have to have an account. Like, YouTube, you've got to have an account, but I don't know whether you have to be some form of business.
See, we've taken your whole podcast and we've gone right off the rails with
Good.
it, haven't we?
This is our podcast now.
Where do they blend together?
It's we've got a Captain Phillips situation. This is our podcast now.
We'll just record a different intro and splice it on the beginning of
Let's
it.
just publish the same thing on ours and
yeah.
on yours. There we
Well,
go.
it depends on once you hit a certain threshold of the amount of cocks that are said in the podcast.
You're
then
in our room now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Then it automatically just clicks over to this is a podcast formerly known as podcast.
That's it.
Because you refuse to take ownership.
Well, segue time. On that note,
Yeah.
you guys have got this podcast. This sounds so funny to ask.
We've got
question.
this podcast.
This
Is that what you're talking
podcast,
about?
The podcast formerly
Oh.
known as.
Yeah.
How did you guys both meet to start this podcast? And I mean this in the most serious of ways.
It's a funny story, actually.
Funny story, that. Yeah. He stole my bin.
Yeah, I stole his
And
bin.
I broke into
Well,
his
I
house.
didn't. I didn't actually steal your bin.
Yeah,
the previous
yeah.
tenants stole
Potato.
your bin. Okay, so what happened was the day I moved in, the day I was moving in all my stuff to the place where I live, I'm like there with my mum or something.
No, you're on your own. You're on your own. Well,
was
when
I?
I saw you, it was
Okay.
just you.
And he walks up the driveway, this lanky bald cunt. I'm like, who the fuck's this? And then
Yeah.
he opened his mouth, is like British as well.
That's my
Even
fucking
worse.
bin.
And he's gone, oh, is that, you've got my bin. I was like, oh, do I? I don't know. I just got here. I'm moving in right now. I'm like, sorry. So like the previous tenants had taken his bin and
As they were moving out, they decided to fill
all of the
like
bin.
our bin was empty. It was yeah, and I guess there's
So
like,
we live in a block of flats.
Yeah.
well,
and
you,
he
they're
lived
units.
in the
There's 12 units, and out of all those 12 people, they chose my bin to fill up.
Yeah, which is all the way down the front, and mine's.
And there's a reason for that. It's because my ex-wife once gave her, the tenant, the middle finger
Fair enough.
for
Well, the tenants were. It was a grow house, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably.
So what's a grow house?
Weed. I think they were growing
okay,
weed in the
gotcha.
garage,
Right,
and
okay.
apparently they were barely ever there.
Yeah.
And then for like, a good 4 or 5 months after I moved in, every 2 to 4 weeks, cops would rock up asking for the previous people. Where are they? I'm like, I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
Like the worst one was like it got to a point where like 4 of them rocked up in like jumpsuit gear. Like I don't know what
like
they,
sort
what
of
they call it.
forensic,
Like,
sort of like the white suits.
no. Like more like
SWAT team.
Oh, SWAT team. Okay,
but not
yeah.
quite SWAT, but like it just like more tactical. They were like
overalls.
they were like
Did
in
they have like
full-
M16s and shit?
No. But they're like there was 4 of them. 4 of them.
Yeah, right.
And they said, oh, is so-and-so here? And I've just gone, oh my God, really? I'm like, don't you guys have some sort of a database where you go, oh, we've been here 5 times in the last 2 months, and every single time it's the same guy going, I have no idea they're the previous tenants.
Surely you would check the database
Surely,
first and
like,
go, no.
update the database and go, not at this address. And then I never heard from him again. But, like, that was my introduction. Like, in the first 2 weeks, I rocked up. I was at home. I pulled into my driveway. A cop car was talking to someone who was putting the bins out, which was my next door neighbor, who I hadn't met yet. Yeah. And then they've gone up and then gone to number whatever one I am at.
He nearly said 11.
Oh, fuck.
He lives at 11.
Number 11 Melbourne.
Yeah, no, at number
fucked
11
now.
Melbourne. And I've gone up and I've followed this cop car and he's gone. I'm like,
That tickled him.
yeah.
Just like,
And
Keep going.
because I pulled into the driveway and I said, and I had my window down. I said, "Oh, what's going on?" to the guy that was there. He's gone, "I think they're there, here for you." And I'm like,
they know already.
yeah. I'm like, I just moved in. I'm like, yeah, welcome to the neighborhood.
Wow.
Anyway, so he took my bin. And that's how he took my bin.
No. Well, hang on.
I took his bin.
I took my bin
And
back.
he must have called the cops, I think.
And so then after that, it was pretty much, well, let's start a podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I broke into his house and then we started a podcast.
Oh, yeah,
He
because I
left- he
locked
lost
my
his
keys.
keys.
Well, because we became friends from when I bought a motorbike.
That's right.
And
Okay. Bike.
he'd been...
Mutual appreciation of
Yeah.
finer things in life.
Yeah. And the first ride we went on, you took me to Harley Heaven in Ringwood. And you were like just pulling bikes out. Like they were all like...
I remember.
not on the like they were all like lined up and he's like, yeah, I'll just get this one. He wheels it out like this $25,000 Harley is just like wheeling it across the showroom going, jump on this, see what that feels like. I'm like, oh, and like he's like just pushing me, trying to get me to
I didn't even have
get
a Harley then.
I know,
Did I have
but like
Ducati
you
or-
knew that I liked Harleys
Oh,
and
yeah,
you were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, you need to get one.
Well, that's his name. In my phone, it says Chris48. That's his name.
Oh, right.
Because he wanted an iron, an 883 iron. And I'm like, yeah. Wait till you see the 48.
Yeah.
That's the one you're going to want. It's like an iron, but tougher. It's the boys' version.
Way,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we took him to Harley Heaven and then we showed him a 883. Yep, cool, nice. Look at this, 48. He was like, wow, that's what I want.
Yeah,
So
fuck yeah.
And he's just Chris 48.
That's his name.
Yeah, and I ended up on an 883, not an iron though.
He's got an 883.
So neither of the things that I wanted.
yeah.
That's all right. You'll always be 48 and
That's
teen
it.
size anyway.
And his Dean at number 7, still in mine.
Really?
Yeah,
Number
still.
7 Melbourne.
Yeah, at number 7 Melbourne.
Uh-huh.
Look out. We've got some serious stalkers on my podcast. They'll
Yeah.
look that up. We exist.
Google number 7 and
Yeah,
that's
number
me.
7 in
That's
Melbourne.
me.
And then we had Dexter night.
Oh, that was it. That was when it really... That's when I met John.
That's when it really heated up between
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Sister. We had that's when you met John and my sister and stuff.
Yeah.
And but you'd already said to me, "Hey Chris, let's start a YouTube channel."
That was way back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
around then.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No,
I ain't got time for
I
that
don't
shit.
have time to edit
Which you
videos."
Didn't. You didn't anyway. Though.
I didn't at the time.
Yeah.
So I said, like maybe a couple of weeks later, I just went, "Oh, let's do a podcast. It's only audio. It's heaps easier."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
And so it sort of went from there.
yeah, and it went from there, and then we ended up with a YouTube channel as well. Anyway,
Just for fun.
yeah,
There you go. Trying to change the world.
but it's kind of like we talked about this the like a couple of times where we were like, we didn't make one of the reasons we didn't make a YouTube channel is because like we were like, yeah, we'll do some sketches or something, and then it's like, well, what, and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Dean called me up one day and said, I've got this great idea. Let's do, what was it, the wanking
Wasn't-
machine?
Yeah,
No,
it
it was the...
Heimlich maneuver machine.
Tell us about it.
Well, I don't know why. Was it a dream? I don't know. I just had this. It wasn't for a YouTube channel, really. Well, I don't know. It was just for like this thing that was
It's
filmed.
just like our friendship has gotten to the point where he'll call me up and go, hey,
Bye. yeah.
he'll call me up and go, hey, I just had this idea for like a weird sort of as seen on TV infomercial of like this Heimlich machine. Like he just calls me up out of the blue with this
Yeah.
weird idea.
And then we
With
were on the-
no like, let's make a YouTube video. No, there was no
It's
end
just the
game.
idea itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it'd be funny to make a video, which we're never going to do and never did. But of a Heimlich maneuver machine. You know the Heimlich maneuver? If somebody's choking you.
From behind, yep.
What if there was a machine that did that for you? It was the same size as a human.
Yeah.
And you had to carry it around with you everywhere you went, just in case you choked on something.
Like wheel it around, and it'd be like this couple at a and with a kid
With
as
a
well
kid,
for some reason.
Kid starts choking, and then you just okay.
Have you
Luckily, I brought my Heimlich machine.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Singapore Airport where you sit on the seats and you got the massage machines?
No.
There's these couches at Changi Airport.
Like the black chairs, and they go grunk 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 because I got my head stuck in one of them.
I've seen that in Europe, but in Singapore at Changi Airport, you've got these big recliner sort of seats, and there's these massages that sit around your calves and your feet, and you're sitting in there, and they're free, and it just massages you.
Oh, really?
No, I've been to Singapore Airport, but I didn't see them.
Yeah, and there's quite a few of them now, and you sit there and I see a lot of Asian dudes just passing out, just old dudes like with their tongue hanging out, getting a massage, and you could kind of have that contraption at the airport.
Oh.
It could be an airport thing. And maybe, I don't know. I mean, this may need some medical research to back it up. But I wonder if you could get some very soft, a soft version of that maneuver on a daily basis, and maybe that might mitigate the chances of choking.
Okay. What? Is that how it works?
No, it's not. It's not how it works at all. But my point is that maybe, you use it in the state of emergency.
Okay.
You're always at the end point. It's always when it's like anything. You react to a situation when it's at critical mass. So are there things that you can do to prevent the act in the first place? So
Just
maybe,
don't eat anything.
Well, okay,
Stick to liquids.
That could be a thing. But if you want to produce a product and make money off it, maybe there could be something that gently massages your chest and holds you from behind and over,
Couldn't it be could it be a vest that you wear?
It could be a vest.
Like a special bra?
A bro?
That you'd wear under your clothes all the time, and it would contract and stuff.
It could be, and then just keeps all the passageways clear. Just keeps pumping.
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
So when you do have that unfortunate incident of eating something sideways or drinking at the wrong time, or whatever, and the pipes get clogged up, then your airwaves and
Well, you just gave me an idea for a CPR machine.
Yeah.
What about a CPR machine?
Let's make it happen.
If you're unconscious, that's the hardest part, though.
Operating it when you're unconscious.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be mind control in a dream state.
But look, I've never been in a situation where I'm choking to death, but...
But if you had the Heimlich maneuver machine, the Heimlich 5000, I think we called it.
Yeah.
Ah, perfect.
And then then we went on to the Wankomatic 5000.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Self-explanatory, really.
That is another thing
but we
altogether.
decided it'd be the same machine repurposed when it didn't work. The first thing we just changed and then when that didn't work, we thought we'll become the dining caddy.
Yeah.
And we'd put
knives and forks,
like
condiments,
holsters and stuff. So it would wheel up to you'd wheel it up to your table. It would be able to perform the Heimlich or whatever however it's spelled.
Pretty much whenever you go to a restaurant, you'd carry this thing. Apart from the wanking
you'd
aspect,
wheel it
you
in.
wouldn't want to,
But
maybe not that part, but
because no one likes to wank after a big meal, do they?
You know what?
Maybe
that might come in handy at a brothel. So maybe how people got weird fetishes. I don't know if you've
sex robot.
Well, yeah, maybe. But
and then you've got
either of you been to Japan?
No,
not yet.
Okay, so
you guys are way more worldly than I am.
So in Japan and probably other parts of the world, and probably in Australia as well, but especially in Japan, you've got so many different niche fetishes. There's so many weird, crazy, kinky things, really crazy things. I remember being in the middle of Tokyo and someone handed me a flyer and she was wearing a Little Bo Peep outfit, and I just whatever, I'm just taking free shit. I love free shit. Get a piece of paper, and the Japanese guy with me is laughing, and I said, what's this mean? And he says, it's a cafe where these girls are dressed as Little Bo Peep, and you sit there on a mat, and they walk around. They don't serve anything but tea, and they serve it to you. And I said, oh, do they like hand it to you and you drink it? And they said, no, they literally will hold it up to your mouth and pour it into your mouth. You don't touch them. You don't touch the utensils or anything like that. You sit there, and these Little Bo Peep.
And is that a sexual thing?
Well, it could be, I guess, it could be interpreted that way.
You don't get to fuck them.
I don't think so, but not that I'm aware of. But maybe my mate, who's Japanese, was being very polite and didn't want to go into too much detail. But I know other people.
It's a Little Bo Peep thing. I mean,
have been to.
So they go for a night out. They go, let's go to a Little Bo Peep show. Is that?
Hey.
Well, on that note, there's a guy that, by the time this comes out, will be on one of the previous episodes, James, who went on tour with NoFX in Japan. He knows those guys really well, and he went to some form of bondage S&M club in Osaka, and they watched a Japanese businessman get up in front of everyone, and this lady, from what I can remember, stripped him naked, and then tied up his cock and balls, and then pretty much just whacked the shit out of his dick until he came, and then he cried. And then he cried, and then everyone just clapped. And all the guys, like him and the people he's with, are just sitting there going, holy fuck, this is like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Was that a Japanese businessman from the audience?
Yeah. But I think what happens is that guys will go there and pay. It's all so like a strip joint.
So he wanted that to happen.
Yeah,
he was into that, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
because if somebody
and then he
did
cried.
that to me on a stage...
And then he cried. I don't think I'd be able to maintain it.
Nothing.
Let alone...
It wasn't like a thing where you're in the crowd and it's like you're watching like a comedy show and someone pulls you out of the audience and you don't know what to expect. Like this guy knew what was going on. Everyone in the...
It's like, tonight's my big night.
Everyone knew what to expect except for the dumb Caucasian round eye guys in the audience.
Yeah.
And the Japanese dominatrix or whatever was going around, and she went up to
and then he cried.
Guys. Yeah, but that was part of it.
That's the bit
that was part of it.
Like he could cry on cue.
I'm still stuck on whacking the cock with a, what was it, like a stick or something?
Yeah, it was some sort of paddle or stick.
I'm imagining a cat of nine tails for some reason.
Yeah.
If I had a boner and then you whacked it with a stick,
it would go down.
I don't know.
Oh, it could break.
I don't know.
The stick would break.
Because you can break a boner. From what I've heard,
you can snap a banjo string. Apparently.
Well, do you remember the old?
I was like, my little mind couldn't get what you were trying to say there.
The little bit underneath.
Do you remember the old?
Okay.
Do you remember the old NBA player Dennis Rodman?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the NBA, and I bought his book, his autobiography, and this is like in the 90s, whatever, after he'd retired, and the cover, I bought it from like, I don't know, Dimmicks for like $2 is in the discount bin. And he was naked on the front and he had all his tattoos and he was holding basketballs.
You were like,
and I'm hiding from my mum.
You bought Naked Dennis Rodman magazine.
I was so obsessed with like the NBA, I had to read it. Like, I didn't want my mum to see it.
That's amazing.
But in the book, he's talking about how he's having sex with all these women and the amount of times he's gone to hospital because he's doing
it wasn't a magazine, it was a book.
No, it was literally like an autobiography.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. And he was talking about the amount of times he's gone to hospital because he's having these crazy sex parties or whatever.
Oh, really?
And his dick keeps snapping all the time. And he goes, and he keeps going to hospital and getting his dick fixed. And I'm just, and this
traumatized for life. If I have sex, my dick's going to break.
Okay. Is that like when you slip out and you slip out and then?
Well, I don't know.
Bang it into the leg or something.
Maybe,
and it just sort of buckles a bit and
wrong way, sort of pelvic shift the wrong way.
But I mean, clearly he's doing it wrong. First of all,
Yeah, shouldn't snap. Definitely shouldn't snap.
Definitely
Nah.
shouldn't snap.
But the way that he was describing this was like he was into some pretty fucking out there shit, and there weren't just one It wasn't just one person involved. It was like this multitude, these big sort of orgy things happening. But I'm reading this when I'm like 10 years old or 11 years old,
Jesus.
and I'm just going, I haven't quite grasped the concept of sex yet.
Yeah.
Let alone the fact that your dick can snap.
And let alone that, like, you could be having orgy parties exist.
No, he was fine with that. He was fine with that.
I was like, yeah, no, I get the concept. Get it.
I've had a birthday. No worries. Yeah.
I'm 10 years into this life. I've seen it all. I get it.
I've had 10 of them.
By the time I sort of got to that stage in life, all I kept thinking about was like, oh my God, my dick's going to fucking snap because Dennis Rodman's dick snapped. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, for the rest, like, is my dick going to snap? That is going to become like a paranoid thing.
10 years old. You haven't even had your first choke wank at 10.
No.
I don't know what a choke wank is, but no, I probably wouldn't have had my first wank by then.
Autoerotic asphyxiation is what it's talking about.
The asphyxia
we call it a choke
Hutchins?
wank.
Is it a Hutchins? Or?
Yeah, that's
okay,
the...
all right. Yeah, no, I haven't had a Hutchins.
A Hutchins choke.
Yeah, not quite up my alley.
I like to call it the half Hutchins.
It's a half Hutchins, not a full Hutchins.
Nah.
We wouldn't be here to talk about it if it was a full Hutchins.
I don't know how we're going for time, but
you wanted to wind this one up, are you, Andy?
no, not at all. I'm pretty sure we've got plenty of time.
It's 35 minutes in. We're just getting warmed up.
That's it. That's exactly
just wait till you listen to the episode of our podcast that you're on, which will be like,
This is the warm up. That's the clue.
Yeah, just you wait.
That's good. So we'll try and think of some no, actually, they're not serious questions at all. But so with your podcast, how long's the podcast been going for? A couple of years?
I think we started in 2014, around this time.
3 years, yeah.
In 2014, I think.
Yeah, and now we've got 7 listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started with 3.
Yeah.
I mean, people came and went, but it was 3 the whole time. Like, one person would be like, hey, could you take over for me?
Like a tag team thing.
Yeah. We had a tag team of 3 listeners for a solid...
Yeah, so there's my mum.
Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, Daniel.
Another one. Who's been on the podcast a couple of times now.
Yeah.
And who else?
There's Jenny in England.
Oh, Jenny in England.
Listens. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Oh, no, she's not listening to this. It's not our podcast. Why the fuck would she be listening to this?
We'll post it.
That's all right.
Okay.
We'll
share
do
it
some
with Jenny.
cross promo.
I'll
get your 3 or 4 listeners onto this one.
Yeah. She's 7 now.
Yeah, she's into the ratchet stuff as well. She's all over it.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, okay. So the ratchet's...
we can talk about that on here.
Yeah, we can?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll get to that in a sec. So with the podcast, formerly known as...
Yep.
It's a fortnightly podcast.
Every 2 weeks. We did have, like, in the 3 years that we've been doing it, we had, like... We did 10 episodes, and then we had a 6-month break.
The first 10 were just us 3 with John.
Yeah, and then we had a 6-month break and said, we need to get guests on.
We've everybody knows everything about us now.
Way too much about us,
to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot about your employee situation.
Do you like Dean's Clangers as a segment? Just real quickly,
I do. I really enjoy it. And we won't go into too much detail. Listen to the podcast formerly known as if you want to get into that in further detail. It's a bit of cross promotion there because I don't want to spoil
cross-mogenation.
Yeah, that's right. Because I'm at the moment I'm forgetting what podcast I'm actually on.
Me too. Especially because we're recording 3 tonight.
That's
3 podcast episodes, and you've done how many today?
1, 2, 3. I'm on the 5th. No,
Fuck.
6th.
Fuck you. So you're going to do 7 podcasts today?
Yes, and I've got another one at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Jesus.
I'm hoping. Well, I will wake up and
AM.
I will. Yes,
That's morning, yeah.
Yeah. Because I've got a flight at 11, And I've got a mate that lives on the way to the airport. And I thought, oh, I'll meet up with him on the way. And I said, oh, how early do you want to start? And he said 7 a.m. And I just thought, yeah, actually, I might do that because at least then I get it out of the way. I can shoot the shit for a bit and I've got still time to chill out the airport. But I know come 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm going to be...
Cactus.
You're going to be fucked.
It could be entertaining, though. I might be still pissed. I don't have to drive, so who cares?
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Drink up. Yeah.
Nice.
So you got the podcast that's obviously going on one side, but then you've both created this monster or soon to be monster.
Hopefully soon to be monster. That'd be nice.
Ratchet Industries.
Yep. We sure have. Ratchet Industries.
It's our baby.
Yep. You can find us on YouTube.
So I don't know.
.com.
Yeah. Just in case you weren't familiar.
Damn it! I was putting CJB.net in there.
I know. Open Internet Explorer first of all, or Netscape Navigator. Open that up, and in the address bar, type HTTP. let's stop there.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Edit that out. No. But one thing that I was really impressed with is I heard you leading up to it. You kept saying you were being all vague book about it.
It's
I've got this
interesting
thing. I've got this idea.
Yeah.
And it's coming. And
was that on my vlog?
The vlog.
Or, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear someone else's perspective.
Yeah.
Even though I won't let you talk. But go ahead. So I really do find it interesting, by the way. Now I'm doing that thing I do to Dean.
Okay.
Where you're about to talk and I say something instead.
Oh, you interrupt?
Yeah.
Hey, no, interrupt.
Completely intentional.
It adds more content to the episode. It's all about content.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 45 minutes.
Yeah, stretch it out. But,
sorry, I'll stop.
Why is that familiar? Stretch it out. Okay, go.
Have you seen the YOLO video? Actually, I'm going to go off on a tangent straight away. If you go on YouTube and you look up YOLO, probably you can't type in YOLO on its own. You know what YOLO means?
No.
Okay, YOLO is like this thing that means you only live once.
Oh.
So a lot of...
All the cool kids are...
Yeah. So it's a big hipster thing. All the millennials and everything use it. Yeah, YOLO! And they jump off a cliff and fucking...
But isn't it... It's gone to a point where it's like... It started getting... popular and then it became a meme.
Yes. So what had happened a few years ago is that this thing was quite popular and everyone was saying it, and there's these guys from Wollongong who created an animation called YOLO. Now, to break it down into a very simplistic narrative, you've got two bogan chicks that are getting ready to go out. This is all animated. Poor animation, by the way, which makes it even better. And they're in front of the mirror and they're putting their lipstick on. They're like, yeah, fuck, we're getting ready to go out, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, should we call
one of them called Shazza?
Well, no, but very close. And then they're like, oh, should we call up Stacey? And then she goes, nah, fuck Stacey, she's a bitch. And then like, all right, let's go. And so they fucking, for whatever reason, they've suddenly got superpowers. They burst through the ceiling. Yeah. And they rock up to the front of a pub and there's this giant roid security guard. And she's just like, they're carrying on about how they want to fuck or whatever. And they walk in, they're on the dance floor dancing. And then there's a human, like, I was going to say a human rat, but there's a rat that's like a person. And he's with a couple of humans and they're like, let's go and fuck these chicks. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they go up and they say, hey, ladies, do you want to fuck? And she's like, yeah. And she opens up her asshole. And then they dive into her arsehole and then they start chasing after her turd. Okay. There's a turd in there, which is a human, like a turd, well, and a person. Yeah. And the turd's got, eyes and a mouth and legs and arms or whatever. And it's running. And the guy who was in the club is suddenly in this chick's asshole and he's racing after the turd. And he's like, I'm going to fuck your shit. I'm going to fuck your shit. And it's like, oh. And then right at the end, he screams out, YOLO! And that's the only reference to YOLO. Yeah. Now, this video has got, I think the last time I checked, 6.5 million views.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It's pretty good. Now, they've done a follow-up video a couple of years ago called Siggy Butt Brain. Yeah. Which is about two meth addicts that are on a train station in Wollongong fighting amongst each other, and it's pretty good. It's not as high up the
It wasn't as highbrow
as YOLO. You got it. Absolutely. Okay. You pull the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But it's still quite good. So us as a band, what we did is, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, we were in Japan and we were so obsessed with this video that we decided to do a montage video acting out every single scene of the YOLO video.
Yep.
So we start right from the beginning and we do the whole...
Is that on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
So if you type in YOLO Lord...
Yeah,
you will find it.
Sweet.
And it's pretty much, I want to fuck your shit, and it's it's this vulgar, disgusting thing. So that's where I don't even know where this came from and why I even started mentioning YOLO in the first place.
Because we created a monster or something.
Maybe, I don't know, but I got really excited when I started talking about YOLO. So anyway, that's the YOLO story.
Can I just for a sec take a quick pee break and hit pause on that?
Absolutely.
And then we'll continue in 1 second.
As long as you can bring back a beer.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right, yeah,
Hang on.
I'm busting as well.
All right.
Okay, and you can cross stream it like Ghostbusters.
Cross swords. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cross swords. That's it.
Yeah, we usually.
That's... Oh, we're back. We've had a bit of a bladder stop, a bladder pit stop. So the question I was asking earlier, or the observation that I had earlier, was watching rat shit industries evolve into what it is today.
It hasn't evolved into anything yet. But because you were saying you were watching my vlogs.
Yes,
that's what you're trying to search for.
But you were hinting at the point, saying, there's some things coming, and there's some projects and things that you're involved with. Stay tuned, and it's going to be something really, really cool, and blah blah. So we're, I say we, but I don't know who else was watching, but I was watching, and I was waiting for whatever was going to come. And so the first thing was the role reversal, and then it kicked off from there.
Yeah. And what was it? Just because one of the reasons that I started the vlog is because, as you can see, I do a lot of projects.
Yes.
So we've got the Ratchet Industries. We've done the podcast. I did another thing called Musician, which was a website where you could sign up. It would create a QR code for you. And as a musician, when people are like, oh, where can I hear your band? Right? You go, oh, well, here's a QR code. They'd scan it. And then it would have links to all of your Facebook, all of that stuff. All there.
Yeah.
And then before that, we did Learn Shred Guitar with John, my brother-in-law. So we had a website where we'd made 60 full-on tutorials, 3-camera shoot, and a backing track library. And there was people subscribed to that and paying to access the content and all of that sort of thing. And then my music stuff, which I've done multiple things. So I've always got projects on the go, but I don't have one audience.
Yep.
I have to start with a brand new audience every single time I start a project. So I figured, if I do a vlog, then I've got an audience that when I do a project, I go, hey, if you're interested in this is something that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which helped massively with Ratchet Industries because I was able to put out a video that said, hey, we've just launched this channel. We've just launched this Kickstarter. We want you guys to post it on Reddit and stuff like that. And that's how it got to,
It was good because it was almost like I've got this secret.
Yeah.
And
you guys are in on it.
To help. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all in with it with me, and I need your help. And this is the plan. This is the game plan. Do this. Don't do this. And I think there's a few things where you said, don't post this in this area, or don't say anything might have been on the
don't comment on the thing saying, haha, this is really funny. I want you guys
leave it
all
here
on board.
Or whatever.
Yeah, comment on this video if you enjoyed that.
And I think that was really good because at least from my perspective, I was like, oh, cool. Like, this sounds
You're
like a
in on
really
a
cool
joke.
game plan.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is good. And I'm all over it. And so then, I'm on my Facebook feed, and then suddenly I see Rat Shit Industries post up a thing, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And so suddenly I'm like, let's just start liking this. Let's get it happening. I try and share it, try and get other people involved in it and whatnot. And it's just...
And you've been a massive help with that stuff,
Yeah.
and so thank you. Like,
No,
that's
no
awesome.
worries. No worries. I mean, obviously, I brought a lot of money to the business.
Oh,
and,
massive amounts of money.
Success for the 3 products you've had so far.
Yeah, the knob to handle was the most funded. It cleared $200 of pledges, like 8 pledges or something.
Pretty impressive.
For it. Yeah.
Yeah, really impressive.
I think so.
Which
I'm
one?
surprised.
The roll reverse.
The knob to handle.
Oh.
The roll reverser got to like 190,
Funny you
but
said.
with 6 pledges or something.
Yeah.
Did when you look at the pledges for knob to handle, were they people that you didn't know?
No, I've never had a pledge from someone I've known.
That is impressive.
No one has ever pledged that
I mean,
we've actually known.
To be fair, on Kickstarter, if you want to make a comment, like
If you want to comment on a project on
You have to
Kickstarter, you
pledge
have to pledge.
at least $1, and some pledged $1 just to say.
So yeah, we
that-
had
I have to
2 or 3.
that they would rather get fucked by a donkey than buy this. Oh, that was a YouTube channel then, but
But like the comments were similar. Like we had a couple of people like in
No,
the first day pledge
yeah.
$1 and just go, I just pledged $1 just to see if this is real.
Classic. Oh man, like okay, so
So we were
Yeah.
we were talking before about I posted a thing on Facebook about hi, I work for Lightning Launch, which is a product development company in Newbury, MA. And this person had messaged me, they'd found me on Facebook.
right.
So, like, my Facebook's not connected with my Kickstarter campaign. So they went, okay, who made this Kickstarter campaign? Hunted me down on Facebook and sent me a message on Facebook. And for some reason,
Dedicated.
yeah. So they were saying, we pitch products to licensing companies, manage DRTV campaigns, as well as offer brand building through our in-house marketing team. So she said, I'll just try and cut it short here. I came across the knob to handle on Kickstarter. I think you have a great product, ! I would love to present knob to handle to the rest of my team at our upcoming review on May 23rd.
Impressive.
And
That's like a few days ago.
yeah, and I took a screenshot of that and posted it to my personal Facebook, because that's one of the other funny things about this is I get to share on my vlog like the reactions of like what people have said and videos and stuff. And so I took a screenshot of that and I said something about how, wouldn't you just fire the person that presented this at your next
that's right,
meeting? Like the fucking knob to handle. Bunch of dick jokes. So I responded with, yes, please present this to your team, but only if you can send me a video of the presentation and some feedback. And she responded with another fucking really long...
Whoa, that's a long response. Holy shit.
Yeah, this is her response. Basically saying a lot of the same things. But basically for my presentation, I will be utilizing your Kickstarter video. I also have specific questions, blah, 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 blah. We are unable to send any video footage from the review as it's solely internal with our team. With that being said, I provide all feedback to inventors from the meeting, right? I just responded again, will you video the presentation and send it to me? And her response was much shorter after this because it probably wasn't copied and pasted from something.
Yeah.
And she said, hi, Chris. As I mentioned previously, do not record any aspect of the review. We have many inventors that submit and are diligent, blah, 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 blah. All that we'll be utilizing is your Kickstarter video and any other information you provide. And so I said, then I will politely decline. Have you ever watched our video? And she said, Yes, I have. My job is to select products that I think are good and fit for the company. Without watching the video or doing any research, I wouldn't be able to make an informed decision about bringing the product into the meeting. It's not in our company's best interest to look at products that don't have any potential to work with us. Anyway, so I just wrote, what was your favorite part of the video? Did you see the demonstration video as well? And I never heard back from her.
I think you exhausted her.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I just exhausted your listeners. I'm sorry about that.
No.
That was like 5 solid minutes of bullshit.
That's funny because, I mean, that's probably the product out of the 3 that's got the most potential.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Accidentally.
actually getting funded as a real thing.
But really it doesn't, because it is fucking ridiculous. Like, honestly, no one's buying this product. Oh, we didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you the twist that we were going to add if it did actually start looking like it was going to get funded.
We had a backup.
We had a backup
really?
plan.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were like, this takes time to make and stuff. I'm like,
It's a bit of effort.
$25, $24.
$24.
$24.
Yep.
And the knob socket is really hard to make as well, because that's...
Because Dean makes them all. Dean makes them all.
manufacturing.
Yeah, he's the props department.
His marketing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everything else. I just make the shit. But anyway, we were going to reveal in our next video, which we never made. We didn't have to because it didn't get fucking
Yeah,
funded,
so
obviously.
if it was going to be like... If it was looking like it was going to be funded, it would have been especially good if we'd reached our goal.
Right, okay.
And then, like 2 days before the end of the campaign, we'd release a video, an unboxing.
Yeah, it'd be an unboxing where we would reveal subtly that you've got to make it yourself.
Like, it's just got the screws you're going to have to hand screw into oak. This,
So there's not even
like,
pre-made holes.
No,
or
no,
anything
no.
Like that?
No, fuck that.
No.
Pilot it yourself.
Yeah, we just give you the cutouts of the pieces and the knob socket, and you've got to
Maybe
fucking...
a template, maybe like a paper template that you stretch out of, but then you got to drill it. You got to go and
right.
purchase.
Do you reckon you need... I don't think... Even if it had the drill holes already, that'd be fine. But, like, just,
This is oak,
just the
yeah.
idea of, like, having, someone with arthritis having to hand screw into oak
Love it. It's so good.
would have been so good. And then Dean goes, but we would have made... What was it?
I don't know, some thousands of dollars. And he's like, nah, but just imagine how cool we'd look. If we just said, no, we don't fucking want your money.
Well, it's like that. It's like that pitch that you got and like that conversation you just mentioned there. What if it was absolutely 100% legit and they're at a board meeting and they throw this thing
That
on
would
the
have been
table,
amazing.
so to speak, and they all look around and go, you know what, like, aged care industry, absolutely, people that are sort of not in absolute care, the extreme end of care,
Yeah.
but the people that are sort of transitioning from...
Do you know how much
homebound.
more publicity we'd get if it got funded and then we went, yeah, you have to make it yourself? That would go bananas so much more than actually getting funded.
But all jokes
Very true.
aside, right? We might be onto something with it.
We're not. It's
think
fucking
pretty good.
stupid.
I actually think you might. You might be onto something, but it comes down to those things where you've got to pitch it to the right people at the right time.
Just grandmas, with arthritis, and we just say it's stiff knob, question mark.
Oh, actually, Coombsy actually said to me, he's like, dude,
Yeah.
I actually, and he showed me his shaking hand and
Really?
stuff. He's like, yeah, he's going, I can't.
He struggles with knobs.
He struggles with knobs
Well,
all
he
the
actually
time.
came up. Did you see that? He asked us to invent something else for him.
Oh, yeah, the arse wiping.
Arse wiper.
Yeah.
But then I Googled it and they're around. You can buy arse
there's
wipers.
already arse wipers out there.
Yeah, I think I don't think that's really a Ratchet Industries kind of product. We deliver clean, wholesome products
Yeah, right.
and then
Okay, yeah.
put innuendo on top of
There
that.
is a standard that you need to meet first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because, like, our characters are Christian. There's a lot of depth. to our characters.
Social
Sounds like
justice
there's-
warriors.
Social justice.
It's a lot of depth that I'm not even aware of.
After the
gonna come
there's
out.
so
It's coming, it's
yeah
coming.
yeah
Okay,
because
alright,
we've
Stay
got
tuned.
we've got whole story arcs. I'll tell you about that after this
because
episode
it's
because
actually a web series.
yeah,
Yep,
and this
cool.
is the first time we've said this on any sort of
Anything,
recording. So this
okay.
is exclusive
Raw.
to you. Is that
Raw.
we actually have a web? It's a web series, not just a thing. It's-
Okay. So the question with Rat Shit, apart from all the storyboard and the plots and whatnot that are going to come, as far as individual products,
Yep.
how many are on the drawing board at the moment?
Without naming them.
No, without naming them,
At
don't need
least
to know what they are.
4 or 5,
Um,
6, 4 or 5 or 6. Something like that.
Sorry, I've just got to. I can't
got
talk
the-
and count at the same time.
2, 3,
Oh yeah, I've got 4.
3, 4.
I think there's about 6.
Oh really?
Yeah, we'll talk about them afterwards,
Yeah,
and we'll
of
let
course.
Andy know afterwards because I think
But I think the big thing is that people that actually take the time and the effort to listen to this podcast.
at this far into it,
That's it. But they're people that listen to Screw-Ins. They're people
Yep.
that have listened to my podcast for a while. And if anything, they're people that have listened to the podcast formerly known as well. They'll jump in on...
maybe.
Well, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm a
Okay.
glass half full kind of guy.
You could be up for another 7 listeners.
You could be up for a
I'm
potty next.
I'm all about maximizing.
You could be up for a potty next year. Is that what they're called? Are they called the potties?
don't. Not yet, but I'm sure it'll happen soon. But I think honestly, like with what you're doing with Rat Shit. Sorry,
Can't even say
You can
it.
say
without-
it. No, I can't.
Yeah.
But if you've got a good legion of people behind it that are waiting, and as soon as you release each thing along the way, and if you've got 5 or 6 products, and that's disregarding whatever storyboard plots
yeah,
and everything
for sure.
that you're planning to do in the future as well. If you've got, it's sort of like on Facebook where you put up a post and I've got my 9 odd pages
Yeah.
of just fucking the dumbest bullshit that I've
It
got.
will grow.
That's it. People will automatically like it, share it, and whatever. So my call out to my listeners would be, and those 4 people, so what have we got to combine, like maybe 12 or something like that, would be to just automatically like and share whatever you guys are putting up there. And I think
Because we don't post shit.
no. But to get on board that and push it, I reckon
Well,
it'd be
thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Yeah.
shout out.
And thanks to your listeners.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
We'll get in on it.
Yeah, for sure. I did actually reveal last night after a couple of beers, I think it was last night or the night before or something. I called Hugh up the next morning. Was it this morning? And said, I need to start by apologizing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because I did kind of out us a little bit on Reddit.
Right.
But it was a post in Shitty Kickstarters on Reddit that was like, it's been there for like
Nobody reads- nobody
a
reads
week
it anyway.
now. So it's like, it's pushed right down. There's the odd,
Where you expose yourself.
yeah. And I just replied, I said, there's more to come. And then someone said, they were like, oh, okay. And
What
I
do
was
you
like,
mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the guy who was like, I'm not sure whether this is real or like.
Yeah. There was a bit of a conversation.
He said it's either the best satire I've ever seen.
No.
or-
That was a different
Oh,
one.
that was elsewhere. Yeah, I saw that.
Grade A autism. Oh, that's
Oh, that was pretty good. That was a great comment. But before we wrap it up, and I'm
Yeah.
watching the time as well, can you just some of the comments, and it's not even comments. You guys getting YouTube response videos.
Oh, yeah. We've
So
had
it's-
8.
The role reverser more so than anything
The
else.
role reverse is the only one that's had videos.
Oh,
made
right,
about
okay.
it.
as far as we know. I mean, we
Well,
search
that-
we search
every
but-
few hours.
But I remember watching one guy, And I don't know how long it went for, like 10 minutes, where this guy was sitting in front of his computer and he was just losing his shit over how crap the idea is.
Not the guy with the moustache.
Really thin.
Oh, that was the
guy.
first guy, Detective Hack, whose channel has actually is starting to blow up. Blow up.
He did
When
that. He had like 50 subscribers off.
or 80 or something like that. Now he's got
2,000 now.
yeah, he's got like
really?
2,300 or something
Wow.
like that.
He's exploding.
It's great for you guys.
No, it's terrible for us because I mean, I feel like I'm in competition with this guy now secretly. I'm like, that fuckhead's got like so many subscribers and is making shitty videos commenting on stuff that
Yeah,
like
we're subscribed to him, by the way. Can I just mention that?
And that just makes it worse because like we are subscribed
mutual
to him.
appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's shit
Like-
subscribed.
I know, but I do actually watch all of his
Yeah, me
videos.
too. I get notifications about that shit.
So we do subscribe to him and watch all of his videos now, but
Yeah, we love him.
But I'm like every single time I watch it and then I look at his subscriber count, I'm like, fuck you, man! Like we're putting so much more effort into our content and stuff,
And this guy's just
smashing it. It's not really very funny. I don't know what it is, but I'm so jealous.
That's the one that I keep remembering because he's so dramatic in his
He
response.
must have something that's working.
I don't know.
He's pretty popular in Reddit. Like he's got like a high Reddit count. So when he posts a new video, he posts it to shitty Kickstarters where that's his audience, and that's where people are jumping on board because he is doing more and more Kickstarter projects.
I'm blown away with what people can do in their bedroom.
Everybody's looking at me.
But it's amazing. Like this guy who just looks like, and especially when I was watching that video, he just looks like the most annoying piece of shit.
He looks like a
out
dog.
there.
Oh yeah.
And this guy's got presence. He's got some presence.
Yeah, he's definitely doing something
in
right.
some version of reality. But he's got an audience and people that watch him.
I think his points are pretty good. Apart from our video, because he thought it was real.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm just thinking, I felt
And
sorry for him. It's
he
like,
did another one recently where I was like, this is really clearly just satire and not real as well. So, something about, I don't know,
the water.
Water.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, he fell for ours hook, line, and sinker, and he picked it apart like perfectly.
Just beautifully.
Yeah.
All of the things that we put in there as a joke.
Thomas referred to the plastic as white polyamory.
Oh, yes.
I think you mean polymer.
Which we didn't even think. We were just like, let's come up with a poly word.
Oh, fuck.
Well, kind of did, because we thought like a poly is a plastic.
He lost his shit on that. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll put a video link to that on the show notes for this episode,
cool.
so people can watch that, and I'll put the other Ratchet Industry stuff on there, and I'll put links to the podcast formerly known as, which you can find on
There's so
all
many
the
links.
places. There are so many things.
Chris J. Asher.
Yeah.
Everything's
to
on there.
Look at the blog.
If you want to put your own business on there about painting shit and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Dean
I'll put
paints
that on.
stuff really badly using total mongs who can't fucking do anything. So yeah, if you're in Melbourne and you want something painted really fucking badly, and
don't
not on
fucking
time,
call Dean Hobson.
Yeah, 3 weeks late, and just paint all over shit that's not supposed to, on the floor. Your cat will get it everywhere. You just fucking give me a call, all right?
And if you want to learn more about all of that, then you can listen to the podcast formerly known as, where it goes into deeper detail. About,
And
the
if you want me to paint something for you, and then just never pay me, or pay me in fucking whatever, a year or something like that, just give me a holler.
Here's your man. He's the man for the job.
Oh yeah, if you want to just take a massive shit all over my business,
Go for it. Please.
yeah, welcome. I don't like my job.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll speak soon.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that really fun conversation with Chris and Dean. if you want to check out more of what they're up to, please go and check out their podcast, which is called The Podcast Formerly Known As. So you can find the main place actually started is just to go to their website, which is the podcast formerly known as all one word.com, and you can see all their episodes to date. I'm on there. I think I'm number 57 from a few weeks ago, end of May, I think it went up. So you can listen to that one if you want to hear a familiar voice. Otherwise, there's heaps of great episodes. Really, really funny guys. Chris does some stand-up, and they both do some amazing things online, especially with the old rat shit industries and everything else that they dip their whatevers into. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. All right. Everything's going to be in the show notes. So whatever we talk about, and I'll have to go back through and listen to this episode a bit more carefully. Hopefully there's some interesting things to put in the show notes. I might find some, actually, I'm going to put the YOLO video in the show notes. I think that's a great idea. Perfect. All right. If you want to support this podcast, iTunes, rate and review. If you don't use it, whatever platform you use, if there's any way of commenting, liking, sharing, any way of interacting with that episode or the podcast itself, it goes a long way to reach more people. You can get onto Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me on all those different platforms. LinkedIn, I go hard on LinkedIn these days, kind of, but I put all the podcast episodes up on there as well. So please find me. Please like everything, share things around. And I must say, as of today, and I'll tell you the date because I'm recording this a little bit in advance, a few weeks in advance. It's the 19th of June. I'm on track to get more downloads this year. Actually, at a 6-month period, I believe hang on, I'm going to try and spit this out. Fuck, sorry guys. After 6 months, I've had more downloads than I did for the entire last year. And I think potentially the last 2 years combined. So it's not impressive if you knew the stats for the last couple of years, but nonetheless, it's increasing tenfold or whatever it is fold, and it's doing really, really well. And it's all thanks to you guys listening, sharing it around, recommending people. The types of guests that I'm getting on are quite varied, and they're continuing to get varied. I tell you what, I should record this outro again. I'm not going to though. And it's just getting bigger and better, and you wouldn't tell right now. And I'm so thankful and really appreciative of everything that you guys do. You listen, you support. You shop on Amazon. Oh yeah, go to andysocial.net and click on the Amazon portal link and go and buy some stuff so I can make some money. That's always good. And the people that regularly use that, thank you so much. But all these little things that you guys do, they're all small in their own right, but they all add up, and it's massive, and it helps me so much. So thank you very much. And I'm always open to suggestions. If you think of people that would be really interesting to be on the podcast, someone funny, someone not, someone interesting, whatever it might be, let me know. I'm all ears. And until next week, that's enough of my voice. Bye.
You're ready.